Welcome to this video. This is Vatko Academy and my name is Waramai. And in this video we are going to look at the alcohols and organic chemistry. So you know that the alcohols are the third classes of hydrocarbons, or should I say one of the compounds in the study of organic chemistry. Now, if you are watching this video for the first time and you have not subscribed to my channel, I encourage you to do so that you can be able to receive automatic updates. So, just subscribe and then you are home on drive. Okay, so now without much further ado, let's now dive into what are alcohols. What is the general molecular formula, as you have seen from other members of the hydrocarbons. Okay, now I want to tell you that normally the alcohols, they are normally called derivatives. They are called the derivatives because we normally derive them from what we talked about, the alkanes as well as the alkenes. So now it is a matter of deriving. So to derive is obviously to come up with something from what is already existing. Okay, so the alcohol is just like the word sounding. The alcohol is just the beer that we know, the Chivoko, wine, and all those stuff. They belong to this class. Okay, now the alcohols are family of organic compounds. Organic compounds that contain they normally contain the OH. Okay, they contain this group called the OH, and this group, we know from the chemistry perspective, we know that this group is called the hydroxide. Okay, so the alcohols, they contain this group called the OH. Okay, so from inorganic chemistry, this is called hydroxide. Okay, hydroxide. This is called the hydroxide. However, from the inorganic perspective, this is called the hydroxide. But when you're talking about organic chemistry and under this the alcohols, this now becomes, or we call it, the hydroxyl. So we call it the hydroxyl group. So make sure that you understand that. Now you have to look at what's a general molecular formula. So for each members of each compound of organic compound must have a general molecular formula. So general molecular formula for the alcohols. So the general molecular formula for the alcohols is given as H2N plus 1, and then just put the OH like this. Now what happened is that this OH is sort of like an extension. So from what we did previously, when you're looking at maybe simplification or what, we just actually simplify and end just right there. Okay? So now, we are going to do an example so that you can see how you can come up with a general molecular formula for the alkyls. Now, before I do that, I want to show you, like, you know that those members that we must know, the hydrocarbon members or specific examples, such as, for example, the methane, okay? Now, since we are looking at the alcohols, this methane, we are going to remove the E and then put OL. So meaning this becomes methanol. Methanol. Okay? However, this does also not change the position at which methane or meth means 1. So your N in that formula equals 1. So same applies if you have ethane, okay? Just remove the E, okay? And put the OL. And then from there now, you're going to have ethanol, okay? You're going to have ethanol. So make sure that you understand what is the compound, or what family of organic compounds are we looking at. Okay, are we looking at the alkanes? Are we looking at the alkenes? Are we looking at the alcohols? So for every single family of the members of the family of organic compounds, they do have a general molecular formula from which we can identify them from. Okay, so make sure that we do understand that. Okay, now coming back to the molecular formula now. So if I want the molecular formula for methanol, okay, so we know that meth is just 1, or it is coming from methane, so it is on number 1, so meaning N equals 1. Now, from this general molecular formula, Cn H2n plus 1, and then you put OH. So the OH, you have put it just to sort of like balance up. I will show you in a minute. So what you do is, now where there is N in this formula, you just put 1. So you're going to have C1, okay, C1, H2 open bracket, 1, then plus 1, OH. OH. Meaning that you can now follow the laws of mathematics to just sort of like multiply here, because there's a bracket there. Now, if carbon has got number 1 there, just ignore it, okay? Except for 2 and above. So there you're going to have 2 times 1. It is just 2 plus this 1, okay? It's going to be 3. And then just bring back the O. Let me use this, the OH. Okay. So this is our general, this is our actual formula for methanol. Okay. For methanol. Okay. So if you remember very well from where we started, from the alkanes, okay, those are single bond. So even the alcohols, they are just borrowing from that point, the alkanes. So they are sort of similar, except that the number of hydrogen is reduced by 1, and that reduction by 1 is replaced by this OH. So let me just show you what I mean by that. So if I have methane, okay, methane. Just bear with me. The formula is CH4. CH4. So if you want to convert it to an alcohol, which is methanol, so just remove the 1 from the hydrogen, then you have C. You're going to have CH3, and then now that one, just put the OH. Okay, so you can see that they are just the same thing, except that we are just converting that other hydrogen into an hydroxyl group as OH. Now from there we move on now. Okay, so now again we'll look at also maybe about boiling point. Okay, so the way it is that the boiling point, this, just say this, increases as the number of carbon increases. Okay, so that's the idea. So for example, if I've got methanol, in this methanol we know that our N equals 1, and in ethanol we know that our N equals 2. So to look at the boiling, okay, to look at the boiling point, then we need to understand that for the ethanol it will be higher. Okay, it will be higher than in methanol. To be higher. Okay, so the boiling point will be so as N becomes big, okay, so is the boiling point. Now, there is an important aspect of what is called ethanol. Okay, so about ethanol, you say it is the alcohol in most of the alcoholic drinks. Alcoholic drinks. Okay, then it's a good solvent. It's a good solvent, meaning most of the thing dissolves into ethanol. Okay, it dissolves many substances that do not dissolve in water. Okay, and then also it evaporates easily. Okay, it does evaporate so easy, or in short, you can say it is volatile. Okay, volatile. Okay, or volatile. Yeah. So if it is volatile, that makes it a suitable solvent to use in glues, printing inks, perfumes, and then also aftershave, because it sort of like evaporates so quick. So when you shave, even if you have an understanding of when you get to the barber shop, they shave you, you have your cut done, and then they put after that they smear you with spirit or sort of anything that is alcoholic. Okay, so we also look at how to make ethanol. So when you look at the ways in which you can make ethanol, there are two ways. Okay, there are two ways. Now the first one is normally called fermentation. So this is also referred to as a biological way of making ethanol. So fermentation. Now, fermentation, this is just where you get, if you have ever seen where they make cachasu, I think, cachasu, where they sort of like use the maize, chimena, and then they put it in a drum, they start cooking it, and then at the high temperature, some ethanol will start forming, things like that. Okay, so now let's just explain what we mean by fermentation, biological way. So what we mean by this, we say ethanol is made from glucose. So from glucose, using some yeast. Okay, using some yeast. Now this is always in the absence of air. So meaning we are just sort of just converting glucose directly to energy, carbon dioxide, as well as ethanol. Okay. So what we mean by this is we convert the glucose. Okay. Let's look at the equation. So it will be glucose is converted to ethanol. So 2H5, then OH, then plus carbon dioxide plus some energy. Plus energy. Now, when you look at this in terms of a chemical equation, so glucose is written C6H12 or 6. Then, of course, you have some enzymes that are found in yeast. Okay. So enzymes doing their stuff like converting the glucose as fast. Then you have now this ethanol. Then plus CO2 plus energy. So the energy, there isn't a specific chemical formula for that. Okay, so this is a thing that we're interested in. So the ethanol, so this is ethanol, okay? Then this is glucose. Of course, that is carbon dioxide, and then also energy. Now, the whole process is called fermentation, okay? And note, this process, the process or reaction is exothermic. So what we mean by this word exothermic, we are talking about in terms of energy. So is energy produced or not produced? So if energy is produced, then we are saying that this is exo. So produced outside the environment. So that is exothermic. Now the other thing that we must also note that since we have put in the yeast, okay, so this yeast normally stops working. The yeast stops working when the percentage of ethanol reaches a certain level. Okay. So certain level. Okay. Now what happens is that at the final stage, finally the ethanol is separated by what we call fractional distillation. So it is finally the ethanol is separated by fractional distillation. Okay. And then now that is about fermentation. Okay. So the number 2 process is hydration. Okay. Hydration of ethene. Now remember that you had ethene. We learned about this, the double bond, the unsaturated one. Now what we mean by hydration is normally addition of water. Addition of water to the substance. Now, which substance are we talking about? So, the second method is by hydration of ethene, meaning that the unsaturated or the double bond ones. Okay. The hydration means water. So, when you say hydration of ethene, you are simply saying addition of water to that substance. So, we know that ethene, okay, ethene looks like this. You can confirm that. Okay. And then we add water. Okay. Now, once we add in water, what normally happens is that this thing will be converted to ethanol, or it will produce ethanol. Okay? So make sure you understand that, and you can just, just understand that. Okay. Produces ethanol, which is C2H5OH. Okay, so it produces that. Now, under this method, or rather the other ways of producing ethanol, you have to know that the reaction is reversible. Okay, reversible. Reversible meaning the ethanol can be converted back to the ethene. Okay, and the symbol that is used for reversible reaction, the reaction is reversible. So the symbol is forward arrow, like that, and then back arrow. So meaning it can go that way, and then if it wants to come back to the reactant, it can come this way. Okay. And point number 2 is that you also need high pressure. High pressure and a low temperature. And a low temperature, okay? Then the last one is you also need a catalyst, okay? So you also need a catalyst. So the function of this catalyst, so a catalyst function is to speed up. So it's to speed up chemical reaction. Okay, that's a major function. Okay, now this ethanol we are talking about, what could be the use? Okay, so what could be the use of this ethanol? So when you look at this equation, because it does undergo combustion, it is used, so you can say used as a fuel. Used as a fuel, very cheap, because it comes from the waste plant material. Okay. And then the last one is it has got less impact on, let's just say, environment Okay, less impact on environment than you can expect than the fossil fuels. Okay. So I'm going to end here, but I want you to, this is just sort of like what you need to know about ethanol. Okay, so specifically on ethanol. Okay, so the next time we'll continue from here, but we shall introduce something called the carboxylic acids. So introduce something called the carboxylic acids. Okay. So remember, these are acids. So you expect them just the way other acids, inorganic acids, behave. This is the same way that they will behave, except that this is an organic acid, or these are organic acids, so they will be able to, they won't be very strong as compared to inorganic acid. So thank you so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe, share, and also like the video. Thank you so much. This is Radco Academy, and I'm Mike Warrior, your tutor. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.